Logan sat alone in the quiet corner of a dimly lit room aboard the Interstellar Council station. Outside the wide window, stars shimmered like distant fires. He stared at the message on his screen. It was short, but its meaning was clear. Something big was coming, something bad. The note had come from an unknown source routed through several layers of encryption. Whoever sent it knew what they were doing. Logan read the words again. They will not listen. Prepare your kind. Time is short. He closed the message and rubbed his eyes. He had spent years working with the human delegation, trying to prove that Earth could be trusted among the stars. Now, all of it felt fragile, like glass ready to shatter. He stood up and walked out into the hallway. The station was alive with movement. Alien diplomats, guards in dark uniforms, techs rushing between meetings. Humans were still seen as newcomers, barely allowed a voice in the great affairs of the galaxy. Logan had fought hard to earn even a small place here. He made his way to the command chamber where the council held its sessions. Inside, tall figures of many species sat in a wide circle, speaking in calm voices about trade routes and treaties. Logan entered without permission and cleared his throat. I have new intelligence, he said. Something we need to address. A few turned their heads. Most ignored him. One, a tall being with silver skin and no visible mouth, finally spoke. What is it now, human? Logan stepped forward. We've received confirmation of a threat. A species beyond the known sectors is moving toward our space. They are not interested in diplomacy. They are preparing for war. There was silence, then a ripple of quiet laughter. You ask us to believe, said another member, her voice like wind through stone, that a hidden enemy is coming, and you have no proof? Logan took a deep breath. I do have proof. I can share data, intercepted signals. And who gave you this information? Asked a third voice. Another frightened diplomat? A rogue traitor? Perhaps a dream? Some laughed again. Logan clenched his fists. This isn't a joke. If we don't act now, we'll all regret it later. The silver-skinned counselor leaned forward. Humans are always rushing, always warning. You see threats in shadows. We have heard such stories before. Go back to your station, Logan. Let the real diplomats handle real matters. Logan stood there, jaw tight, heart pounding. Then he turned and left without another word. Back in his quarters, he stared at the message again. They hadn't believed him. They didn't care. Maybe they thought humanity wasn't worth saving. Or worse, maybe they already knew the truth, and didn't want anyone else to find out. He needed help. He opened a secure channel and typed a name, Maya. Maya was once a pilot in the United Earth Fleet. Now she flew private cargo ships ferrying goods between colonies. She had left the service after a mission went wrong, after losing friends to politics and lies. Logan knew she would understand. She had always been the one to see past the noise. His message was simple. Need to talk. Urgent. Can you meet me off station? Hours passed. Logan paced, checking the door every few minutes. When the reply came, it was just one word. Yes. They met in a small docking bay far from the main halls. Maya looked tired, but sharp. She wore a worn flight jacket and carried a small bag. You look like hell, she said. Thanks, Logan replied. I've had a rough day. She crossed her arms. What's going on? He handed her a small drive. Proof that the council is lying. Proof that something's coming. They won't listen to me. They think we're not important enough to worry about. Maya inserted the drive into her tablet and scrolled through the files. Her face grew serious. This is real, she whispered. Yeah, and if we don't get this back to Earth fast, we might not have a planet to return to. Maya looked up. Then we leave, tonight. Before Logan could answer, alarms began to blare. Red lights flashed across the bay. A voice over the comms shouted, Security breach detected. All personnel report to stations. Someone had found out. Move! Maya yelled. They ran toward her ship, footsteps echoing behind them. A pair of guards rounded the corner, weapons raised. "Halt! Diplomatic codes are violated." Maya fired first. A quick burst from her sidearm sent sparks flying. Logan ducked low and kept running. They reached the ramp just as more guards arrived. Maya slammed the hatch button and shouted, "Hold on!" The engines roared to life. The ship lifted off, dodging fire from below. Within moments, they were clear of the bay and heading into open space. Logan looked out the front window as the station grew smaller behind them. "We're fugitives," he said. Maya nodded. "Then let's make sure it was worth it." They set course for Earth. Behind them, the Council watched their escape. And somewhere beyond the edge of mapped space, something waited. Unseen, unchallenged, and getting closer. Logan and Maya flew through space, the stars stretching like lines behind them. Their ship, a small transport called the Wanderer, was fast but not built for long chases. Logan sat in the co-pilot's seat, eyes fixed on the navigation screen. "We're clear for now," Maya said, adjusting the course. "But they'll send someone after us." Logan nodded. He knew the Council would not let this go. They had tried to silence him once. Now he had run, and that made him dangerous. Maya looked at him. "You think they already know what's coming?" "I think some of them do," he replied. "They just don't care. Or worse, they've chosen a side." She frowned, but didn't say anything. She kept flying. Hours passed. They traveled in silence, each lost in thought. Finally, Maya broke it. "What happens when we get back to Earth?" she asked. "We warn them," Logan said. "We show them the data. If we can't stop this war before it starts, we at least need to be ready for it." Maya shook her head. "You really think they'll believe you?" "They have to," Logan said. But even as he said it, doubt crept into his voice. Back on Earth, things were changing. In Washington, General Elliot Parker stood in a dark room filled with maps and glowing screens. Around him, military leaders watched reports from space. The Council had cut all contact with human diplomats. Rumors spread of ships moving toward Earth's orbit. Parker paced slowly, thinking. "If Logan is right," one officer said, "then we are looking at full scale." "Va." Parker nodded. "And if he's wrong? Then we risk starting something we can't finish." Parker looked at the screen showing the last known location of the Wanderer. "We prepare either way." He turned to a young officer. "Get me the president." Meanwhile, Logan and Maya neared Mars Station, a refueling point between planets. They needed supplies and time to rest. As they docked, Maya checked the local news feeds. Headlines flashed across the screen. Council cuts ties with Earth. Human ships spotted arming beyond treaty limits. Unrest grows among allied systems. Logan read them with a sinking feeling. "This is happening faster than I thought." Maya shut off the feed. "Let's just get what we need and leave." They stepped out onto the station. It was busy, full of traders, workers, and travelers. No one seemed to notice two more people, walking through the crowd until the alarm started. Red lights blinked. A voice over the comms shouted, "Security alert! Unauthorized personnel detected." People screamed and ran. Guards rushed toward them. Maya grabbed Logan's arm. "Run!" They sprinted through the halls, dodging confused civilians. Bullets cracked past them, hitting walls and glass. Maya fired back without stopping. They reached the docking bay, but the Wanderer was blocked by two armored security bots. "Damn it," Maya yelled. Logan pulled a small device from his pocket. "Cover your ears." He threw it to the ground. A loud pulse exploded outward, shorting the bot's sensors. Sparks flew. The machine staggered. "Go," Logan shouted. They climbed aboard the ship. Maya hit the launch sequence. Engines roared. The ramp closed just as more guards arrived. The ship shot into space. Logan looked at Maya. "Where now?" "Can't go straight to Earth," she said. "They'll be watching the main routes." "Then we go around," Logan said, "through the belt." The asteroid belt was dangerous, filled with old mining rigs and rogue drones. But it was also full of hiding places. Maya nodded. "It's crazy enough to work." She set the course. The ship turned and vanished into the dark. Meanwhile, back on Mars Station, A figure watched the departure from a hidden camera feed. He wore a dark uniform and spoke into a small earpiece. They escaped again. There was a pause. Then a voice replied, "Find them. Silence them before they reach Earth." The man nodded. "Yes, sir." He turned off the feed and walked away, vanishing into the crowd. Logan sat quietly as the ship moved deeper into the belt. Rocks drifted past the windows, silent and cold. "You think we'll make it?" he asked. Maya didn't look at him. "We have to." Outside, unseen, another ship followed them, cloaked and silent, waiting, watching, ready to strike. Logan and Maya flew through the asteroid belt, surrounded by floating rocks and the silent remains of old mining stations. The Wanderer was damaged from their escape on Mars Station, but it still flew. Barely. "We need to fix the engine," Maya said, looking at the blinking warning lights. "If we push it too far, we won't make it to Earth." Logan looked out the window. "Can we land somewhere?" Maya pointed to a small base drifting near a large rock. "That one's abandoned. Used to be a mining rig. If it's still intact, we might find parts." They landed carefully. Outside, the base was old and covered in dust. Inside, it was dark and cold. They walked through broken halls, flashlights in hand. "Used to be full of workers," Logan said, looking at old desks and empty chairs. "Now it's just us," Maya replied. They found the storage room and started searching for usable parts. Logan picked up a metal box labeled Engine Control Unit. "This could work," he said. Maya took it from him. "Let's hope." As they worked on the ship, something felt off. The silence was too deep, like someone was watching. Back on Earth, General Parker stood in a war room filled with maps and officers. Reports came in fast. The Council had cut all contact. Alien ships were moving closer, and some systems had already turned against humanity. Parker read the latest message from Logan. It had been sent before they lost contact. The data was clear. Earth was in danger. He turned to Colonel Davis, his second in command. "How long until our fleet is ready?" 48 hours, Davis said. "But we're still missing key weapon systems. The treaty limits what we can build." Parker clenched his jaw. "Then we break the treaty." Davies hesitated. "Sir, that could start a war." "It already has," Parker said. Outside, the city buzzed with fear. News reports warned of possible attacks. People stocked up on food. Some left cities. Others waited, not knowing what to do. In schools, teachers told children to stay calm. In homes, families held each other close. War was coming, and no one knew how bad it would be. Back in the belt, Logan and Maya finished repairs. The engine hummed back to life. "Good as new," Maya said, wiping her hands. Logan looked at the map. "We still have a long way to go." Maya nodded. "Then let's move." They took off again, flying deeper into space. The stars stretched behind them as they pushed forward. Hours passed. Then an alarm blared. "Someone's following us," Maya said, checking the sensors. Logan leaned in. "Can you see who?" She shook her head. "They're cloaked." Before she could react, a blast hit the ship. Sparks flew. Alarm screamed. "Damn it!" Maya shouted, pulling the controls. "They found us." Another shot missed by inches. The Wanderer rocked hard. Logan grabbed his seat. "What do we do?" "We run," Maya said. "Fast!" She pushed the engines to full speed. The ship jumped forward, dodging more fire. The enemy followed faster than expected. "They don't want to scare us," Logan said. "They want to kill us," Maya gritted her teeth. "Not today." She turned the ship sharply, diving between two large asteroids. The enemy tried to follow, but one took a direct hit from debris. "Got them," Logan said, but the enemy wasn't done. Another ship appeared ahead. "No way out," Maya whispered. Just then, a third ship dropped from hyperspace. Big, fast, armed. It fired on both the enemy and the Wanderer. "Great," Logan said. "More trouble." But the new ship spoke over comms. "Logan, Maya, this is Captain Reyes of the United Earth Navy. We're here to help." Maya stared. How did they find us? Logan smiled. Someone believed us. The enemy ships hesitated, then turned and fled. Reyes's ship moved beside them. Get aboard. We're taking you home. Maya looked at Logan. Looks like we made it. He nodded. Just in time. They boarded the Navy ship. As the door closed, Logan looked out at the stars. Something was waiting out there. And now, so was Earth. As they traveled home, Logan sat alone, thinking. They had proof. They had warnings. But would it be enough? He didn't know. All he knew was that war was coming, and this time humanity wouldn't run. Logan sat across from General Parker in a quiet room deep inside the command center. The lights were dim, and the hum of machines filled the silence between them. Maya stood nearby, arms crossed, watching Logan carefully. Parker held the data drive Logan had brought back. He turned it over in his hands like it was something dangerous. You're telling me, Parker said slowly, that the council knew this was coming? Logan nodded. They didn't just know. Some of them are working with the enemy. Parker's face darkened. Why would they do that? Survival, Logan said. The invaders offered peace, in exchange for sacrifice. Other species, weaker ones, were given up to keep the powerful alive. Earth was next on the list. Maya stepped forward. We intercepted messages, records of secret deals. We even have a defector who confirmed everything. Parker looked at her. And where? Is this defector now? Logan glanced down. He didn't make it. But before he died, he gave us everything. Proof of the alliance, the plans, the timeline. All of it. Parker exhaled sharply and placed the drive on the table. This changes everything. Outside, the city buzzed with tension. News reports showed military movements, evacuation orders, and growing unrest. People could feel the storm coming even if they didn't know its shape. Inside the war room, officers pored over maps and data. Ships were being armed, bases reinforced. Families were being moved to safe zones. Earth was preparing for war, but not everyone believed it was necessary. Hours later, Logan and Maya stood in a large meeting hall, facing a group of high-ranking officials. The president sat at the head of the long table, surrounded by advisors, military leaders and diplomats. Logan laid out the evidence. He played the intercepted messages, showed the defector's testimony, explained how the council had chosen betrayal over unity. When he finished, silence filled the room. Then one of the diplomats, a tall man named Carter, leaned forward. Even if this is true, we can't act without confirmation. Launching a response, based on the word of a single defector, could start a conflict we can't win. Another official, Senator Wells, shook her head. We've seen this before. Smaller species accusing the council of wrongdoing. Most of them were wrong. Or lying. Maya clenched her jaw. You're choosing to believe the same people who tried to kill us? Carter shrugged. I'm saying we need time. Diplomacy first, action second. Logan slammed his hand on the table. There is no time. The enemy is already moving. Every hour we wait, they get closer. President Ellis finally spoke. His voice was calm but firm. What do you suggest, General Parker? All eyes turned to him. Parker stood. We prepare for war. Quietly. We reinforce our outer colonies, move key personnel to safety, and begin arming beyond treaty limits. A murmur ran through the room. Senator Wells frowned. That would be an act of aggression. Parker met her gaze. Or it might be the only thing that saves us. President Ellis nodded slowly. Do it. Later that night, Logan walked alone through the halls of the command center. Maya found him near a window looking out at the dark sky. You okay? She asked. He shook his head. No, they're still not listening. Not really. She leaned against the wall. They're doing something, that's better than nothing. He looked at her. It won't be enough. Just then, a message came through on his comm. It was from Reyes, the Navy captain who had rescued them. Logan, Reyes' voice crackled. We picked up something strange near Jupiter. Big, fast, and not friendly. Logan's stomach tightened. Are they ours? No, Reyes said. They're not. Maya stepped closer. Send me the coordinates. Moments later, the image appeared on Logan's screen. A fleet of massive alien warships hovering just outside human space. Not scouting, waiting. Logan felt cold. They're here. Maya stared at the screen. Then we'd better be ready. Outside, the wind blew hard against the glass. Somewhere far above, the stars watched silently, and, among them, death waited patiently. Logan stood on the observation deck of Earth's main orbital command station. Below him, the blue glow of the planet shimmered through thin clouds. Above, stars burned cold and distant, but beyond them, something else waited. The alien fleet had not moved. Not yet. Maya walked up beside him, her face tired but sharp. She wore a flight suit now, back in service even if unofficially. You heard from Parker? She asked. Logan nodded. They're calling it silent mobilization. Moving ships into position, arming hidden bases, evacuating key leaders. She crossed her arms. And what about the people? He looked away. Most don't know, some do, rumors are spreading. Maya sighed. This is how wars start. With fear. Just then, Logan's comm buzzed. He tapped it. Logan, came Reyes's voice. We've got movement. One of their ships just broke formation. Logan straightened. Heading? Toward Mars orbit. Maya turned to him. If they hit Mars first, it won't be a warning. It'll be the opening shot. On Mars, Colonel Harlan was in charge of the colony's defense. He stood in the control room watching as radar picked up the incoming vessel. It was massive, twice the size of any human warship. Black and silent. Status? Harlan asked. Shields at full, replied his officer. Weapons locked, but we have no orders to fire. Harlan clenched his jaw. Get me command on Earth now. Seconds ticked by. Static filled the line. Then finally Parker's voice came through. Colonel, you read me. Sir, we have an unidentified ship approaching. Not responding to hails. Parker's voice was calm. Hold your fire, for now. Harlan looked at the screen. The alien ship was closing fast. Sir, if they mean to attack, we need to act now. Parker hesitated. I said hold. This could still be a test. Harlan didn't like it, but he followed orders. He raised his hand. Stand. Down weapons. Outside, the alien ship hovered just outside firing range. Then, without warning, it fired. A single beam lanced out, slicing through the colony's main power grid. Lights went dark. Life support flickered. People screamed as emergency systems kicked in. Harlan grabbed the comm. General Parker, we just took a hit. Repeat, we were attacked. There was silence on the other end. Then Parker's voice, cold and final. Message received. Back on Earth, Parker slammed his fist on the table. Enough games, he growled. Full mobilization. All fleets launch within the hour. His officers moved fast. Alarms rang across the base. In hidden bays and underground stations, ships powered up. Pilots suited up. Soldiers loaded weapons. War had begun. May A was already at the spaceport when Logan arrived. She was climbing into the cockpit of a fighter, checking systems. He ran up. You're going up? She gave him a look. Someone has to. He reached for her hand. Be careful. She smiled slightly. Always am. Moments later, Maya's fighter roared to life and lifted off, joining a growing line of human ships rising into the sky. Below, cities lit up with fear and fire drills. Families hugged tighter. Children watched the sky with wide eyes. Above, the stars were no longer peaceful. They were battlegrounds waiting to happen. Logan returned to Command Central. Parker met him at the door. You wanted proof, Parker said. You got it. Logan swallowed hard. What now? Parker looked out at the sky. Now we fight back. Just then, a report came in. Sir, more ships entering orbit. Council. Loyalists. Logan felt ice in his chest. They're choosing sides. Parker nodded. Then let's show them what happens when you pick the wrong side. He turned to his men. Launch the fleet. Defend our people. Ships rose from hidden bases. Fighters flew into the dark. Humans, once seen as weak, now stood ready to prove otherwise. Logan looked at the screen showing the enemy fleet. They had warned them. Earth had given peace a chance, but peace had been denied. Now, there was only one thing left. War. Maya's fighter shot through the sky, engines roaring. Around her, other human ships formed a tight line, moving fast toward the enemy fleet over Mars. Below them, the colony burned in places, smoke rising into the thin red air. She tightened, her grip on the controls. "This is it," she muttered to herself. Over comms, Parker's voice came through. "All units, this is command. We are at war. Defend our people. Hold the line." The first wave of alien fighters broke from the main ship, sleek, dark, and fast. They dove toward the human fleet like arrows from the sky. "Here they come," said a pilot named Ellis, flying just off Maya's wing. Maya didn't wait. She pulled her fighter into a sharp turn and fired. Twin bursts of energy tore through space, catching one enemy fighter in the side. It exploded in a flash of light. "Got one," she called. More followed. The sky lit up with fire and movement. Ships twisted and turned, lasers flashing. Explosions bloomed like deadly flowers. Logan sat in the command center, watching the battle unfold on screens around him. He wasn't a soldier, but he could see the bigger picture. "They're pushing hard," Parker said beside him. "But our line is holding, for now." One screen showed Maya's squad breaking through enemy ranks. Another showed human destroyers, forming a shield wall near Earth's orbit. Then an alarm blared. "Sir," shouted a tech. "New contacts dropping from hyperspace." Logan looked at the radar. More ships, big ones. Not from the original fleet. Loyalists, Council-backed forces, had arrived. Parker cursed under his breath. They picked a side. Logan's stomach dropped. "We can't fight both." Parker turned to his men. "Tell all units. Focus on the hostiles. Don't waste time on the Council ships unless they fire first." "Sir," Logan said, "if they join the fight, we won't last long." Parker nodded grimly. "I know." In the thick of the battle, Maya saw the new arrivals. Huge alien warships, painted in the colors of the Interstellar Council. Her heart sank. "This can't be happening," she whispered. One of the Council. Ships opened fire, not on the enemy, but on a human destroyer. "Damn it," she yelled. "Looks like they made their choice." Ellis's voice crackled over comms. "They're targeting us." Maya dove low, dodging a blast that ripped through space behind her. Debris flew past her cockpit. "Break formation," she ordered her squad. "Everyone for themselves." Fighters scattered, twisting through fire and wreckage. Back on Earth, Parker slammed his fist on the table. "Those bastards." Logan stared at the screen. "They're not here to help, they're here to stop us." Parker turned to his officers. "Authorize full retaliation. If they want to fight, we'll give them a war." Moments later, the order went out. "All units engage Council forces, defend our fleet." The battle became chaos. Human ships fought on two fronts. Some held the line against the invading force. Others battled former allies who now fired without warning. Maya led her squad through the madness. She locked onto a Council fighter and fired. The enemy ship rolled hard, trying to dodge, but Maya was faster. Her shots hit true. The enemy burst into flames. "Got another," she said through gritted teeth. Her fuel was low. Her shields were flickering, but she kept going. Nearby, a human frigate took a direct hit from a Council warship. Alarms flashed across Maya's screen. "No," she whispered. The frigate exploded in a silent burst of fire. She closed her eyes for a second, then forced herself back into the fight. On the ground, Logan watched as reports poured in. Casualties, losses, names of fallen pilots. He clenched his fists. "We can't win like this." Parker stood beside him, face unreadable. "We don't have to win. We just have to survive long enough to make them regret this." Just then a report came in. "Sir," said a tech. "Mars colony is sending a distress call. They're losing life support." Logan looked up. "We still have civilians." "Down there," Parker nodded. Send a rescue team. With what? Asked an officer. We're stretched thin, Parker pointed at the screen. Use whatever you have left. Logan turned to the tech. Get me Maya. Moments later, her voice came through, tired but strong. Maya here. Logan spoke fast. We need someone to get into Mars' surface and evacuate the survivors. There was a pause. Then Maya said, Tell me where to land. Maya's fighter broke through the battle above Mars, diving fast toward the surface. Behind her, explosions lit up the dark sky like dying stars. Ahead, the colony lay broken, smoke rising from shattered buildings. Logan, she said over comms. I'm going in. Below the colony was a mess of fire and fear. Survivors huddled inside the main shelter, waiting for help that might never come. The enemy had moved on, but the damage was done. Logan's voice came back clear. Stay sharp. We've got reports of hostiles still in the area. Maya didn't answer right away. She banked hard to avoid a falling piece of wreckage and lined up for landing. The ground team waited near the docking bay, loading the last of the survivors into transport vehicles. Among them was Colonel Harlan, bleeding from a cut on his forehead. Where's our ride? He asked, looking at the sky. Then they heard it, the deep hum of engines. Moments later, Maya's fighter touched down in a cloud of dust and heat. The ramp dropped, and she ran out with 2 medics behind her. Let's move, she shouted. The injured were the first to board. Then the children. Then the workers too weak to walk. Harlan limped toward her. You're crazy coming down here. She helped him onto the ship. I know. As the last person climbed aboard, a warning flashed on Maya's wrist display. Incoming targets. She cursed under her breath. We've got company, Logan said over comms. 2 enemy fighters breaking off from the main fleet, heading your way. Maya slammed the hatch button. Tell me when they're close. The fighter lifted off just as the first blast hit the ground where they had been. Flames and debris shot into the air. Hang on, she yelled, pulling the controls back hard. The ship shot upward, dodging another blast. The enemy fighters were fast, weaving between smoke and fire. They're not letting us go, Logan warned. Maya gritted her teeth. Then let's show them how this ends. She rolled the ship sideways, then dove low again, skimming the surface of the planet. What are you doing? Harlan asked from the back. Drawing them in, she said. One of the enemy fighters followed, thinking she was running scared. Good. She waited until the moment was right, then pulled up sharply. The enemy fighter overshot. Got you, she whispered. She fired. Twin bursts tore through the enemy ship. It exploded in a bright flash. 1 down, Logan said. 1 to go. The second fighter fired, hitting Maya's left engine. Alarms blared. Damn it, she muttered. Shields dropping, she pushed the throttle forward, flying straight into a narrow canyon filled with jagged rocks. You can't dodge forever, Logan said. I don't have to, she replied. The enemy fighter followed, unaware of what was coming. Then Maya hit a broken mining drone stuck in the canyon wall. Old tech, forgotten after years of use, perfect. She flew past it. The enemy fighter followed, then she tapped a command on her console. The drone activated. Its old weapons fired. The enemy fighter had no time to react. It vanished in a ball of fire. May exhaled. Done. Logan's voice came through again, softer this time. Good job, get those people home. She looked back at the survivors in the cabin. Some were crying, others held each other tight. This wasn't just a mission anymore, it was hope. Back on Earth, Parker stood in the war room watching the reports come in. Mars survivors are en route, a tech said. Parker nodded. Good. Now we focus on the bigger problem. He turned to the main screen. The alien fleet hadn't stopped. They were pushing closer to Earth. Logan walked in, tired but focused. We need to change the game. Parker raised an eyebrow. How? Logan looked at the map. We hit them, where they don't expect. Take the fight to their station. Parker studied him. Varel, you think we can reach it? Not alone, Logan said. But if we expose the truth to the rest of the galaxy, If we make them see what the Council has done, they might stand with us. Parker thought for a long moment. Then he nodded. Do it. Logan turned to the techs. Get me secure comms. I need to send a message to anyone who'll listen. Outside, the war raged on, but now there was a plan. And maybe, just maybe, a chance to win. Logan stood in the dim light of the command center, staring at the message he had just finished writing. It was a long shot, a broadcast meant for every human and alien who might still be willing to listen. He read it one last time before sending it out across all known frequencies. This is Logan of Earth. We have proof. Proof that the Council knew the invasion was coming. Proof that they chose to betray us instead of fight. If you still believe in truth, in justice, in freedom, then you must act. Stand with us, or fall alone. He pressed send. The message vanished into the void, traveling faster than light toward distant worlds. Meanwhile, Maya sat in the pilot seat of her fighter, watching as Mars faded behind them. The survivors were quiet, some sleeping, others staring into space. She felt the weight of what they had done pressing down on her. Harland limped over and sat beside her. You saved a lot of lives today, he said. She didn't look at him. Not enough, he nodded. Still more than most would have done. They flew in silence for a while, then Maya asked, What happens now? Harlan sighed. War spreads. People die. Someone wins. Or everyone loses. Maya tightened her grip on the controls. We can't lose. Back on Earth, Parker paced in front of a large map showing enemy positions. Reports came in fast. Council loyalists were pulling back from the main battle, but the invading fleet was regrouping. Logan entered the room looking tired but determined. Message is out, he said. Parker looked at him. Think anyone will listen? Logan shrugged. Some will, some won't, but it's all we've got. Just then, a tech called out, Sir, we're getting a response. Everyone turned. Put it on speaker, Parker ordered. A voice crackled through the comms, foreign but clear. This is Captain Virak of the Zolari fleet. We received your message. We do not trust the Council anymore. We are breaking ranks. We are with you. Another voice followed. Commander Lani of the Karathi Defense Force. We remember what happened to our homeworld. We will not let it happen again. More voices came in. Ships, leaders, entire fleets declaring support for Earth. Parker looked stunned. Logan smiled for the first time in days. Looks like the tide is turning, he said. In deep space, Maya's fighter docked. At a hidden human base orbiting a dead moon, she stepped off the ship, greeted by officers and medics tending to the survivors. Someone handed her a report. Earth's forces just took back Jupiter Station, the officer said. And we're getting help. May A raised an eyebrow. From who? Zolari, Karathi, even some defectors from the Council's own navy. She exhaled slowly. We're not alone anymore. Back on the battlefield, the change was immediate. Human ships moved with new confidence, flanked by alien allies who had once been neutral. The invaders found themselves fighting on multiple fronts. Their formations broke. Their ships fell. One by one, the enemy commanders began to retreat. On the bridge of a massive human warship, Parker watched the battle unfold. Sir, an officer said, enemy fleet is pulling back. Parker didn't smile, but his eyes showed relief. Let them run. We'll find them again. Later that night, Logan and Maya stood together on the observation deck of the command station. The stars above seemed brighter now. We held the line, Maya said quietly. Logan nodded. But the war isn't over. She looked at him. It never really is it? He shook his head. No, but now we have a chance, a real one. They watched as more ships arrived, new allies, old enemies turned friends. Humanity was no longer just defending itself, it was leading. Below them, on Earth, people gathered, in the streets. Not in fear this time, but in hope. For the first time in history, humans had stood up to the galaxy and refused to be silenced, and the galaxy had listened. The war wasn't over, but the future belonged to those willing to fight for it, and humanity was ready. Logan stood on the wide balcony of the new interstellar hall, looking out at the city below. It stretched across the land like a web of lights, alive and strong. Behind him, voices rose and fell in debate. Diplomats, leaders, survivors from 100 worlds. They were building something new, something better. The war had ended, but not with silence. It had taken months of fighting, of loss, of fire in the sky and blood in the stars. The invaders had been driven back beyond known space, their fleets broken, their plans undone. The old council had fallen, its betrayals exposed for all to see, and now humanity was no longer just another voice among many. They were leaders, heroes, survivors. Maya walked up beside him, her steps quiet against the stone floor. She wore a simple jacket now, not a uniform. The war had changed her as it had changed them all. "You ready?" she asked. He nodded. "As I'll ever be." She looked at the room full of diplomats, traders, and soldiers turned peacemakers. "Never thought I'd see the day we'd be sitting at the table with them." Logan smiled faintly. "Didn't think we'd make it this far." Together they stepped inside. A tall alien with deep blue skin and 4 eyes bowed slightly before speaking. "Earth, you have earned your place here. What is your message?" Logan took a breath and stepped forward. "We didn't ask for this war," he said. "We only wanted to be heard. When we warned the council, they ignored us. When we tried diplomacy, they called us reckless. And still, we did not turn away." He looked around the room, meeting the eyes of those who had once seen humans as weak, as outsiders. "We fought not because we wanted to, but because we had to. We fought for our homes, for our people, for the right to exist without fear. And in doing so, we found something more." He glanced at Maya, then back at the assembly. "We found allies, friends, a galaxy willing to stand together after years of silence." A murmur spread through the crowd. Logan continued, his voice steady. "This new alliance must be different from the last. No more secret deals, no more silent betrayals. Every world, every voice must matter." He paused. "Earth will not forget what happened. We will not forget those who stood with us, and those who tried to destroy us." There were nods. Some faces showed doubt, others agreement. Then, an elder diplomat from the Zalari stood. "Humanity has proven its strength, its wisdom. Let us move forward, together." Others followed, raising hands or clicking horns in approval. The moment. The new alliance was born. On Earth, flags flew high in the wind. Cities buzzed with life again. Children played under open skies, unaware of how close everything had come to ending. In schools, teachers spoke of Logan and Maya, of Parker and the brave pilots who held the line when no one else would. In quiet places, families mourned those lost, lighting candles beneath the stars that had once watched the battle unfold. And in space, human ships patrolled alongside new allies. Zalari warships, Karathi cruisers, even former council vessels manned by defectors who had chosen the right side. Humanity had been given a seat at the table, not because they begged for it, but because they earned it. Later that night, Maya and Logan stood outside the hall, looking up at the sky. "Do you think it'll last?" she asked. Logan was quiet for a long time before answering. "Nothing lasts forever, but maybe this can." She nudged him with her shoulder. "Always the diplomat." He laughed softly. "Someone's got to be." They stood there for a while, two people who had done more than anyone expected. Behind them, the doors to the new Galactic Alliance opened and closed, filled with voices of those who had chosen peace over fear. Above, the stars burned bright, and among them, humanity no longer hid. They stood tall, they belonged, and they were ready for whatever came next.